Welcome again to our Training Transfer Effectiveness webinar series. The free webinar series starts today. Today being Thursday, January 30, 2025. So once again, welcome. And we are supposed to have 30 minutes, supposed to be a 45 minutes webinar, 30 minutes of interactive session, my facilitation, I facilitating, then 15 minutes of Q&A, because I want to believe that you came with questions you want answered, burning questions, right? Because I don't know, to some people, what exactly is training transfer effectiveness? How can that happen? So that's what we plan on doing, and let's see how we will do it. Welcome again. So glad you are here. So this is me. My name is Sandra Iheanacho. I'm an ex-banker, worked in Citizens Bank, International Bank. I started my career in the banking sector. That was in 1999. Yes, no, 2001. 2001, that's when I started. I was in Broad Street branch. That was where I started my career. So went to the bank, the oil and gas sector, ExxonMobil precisely, went to Oceanic Bank and finished off from Oceanic Bank before I started. I now started my own business. So I'm an ex-banker, I'm a CEO, mother of 5 children. I'm an IFC Global Master Trainer. And what that means is I facilitate on behalf of IFC. Then I'm also Nigerian. I'm also a certified LPI assessor. So what it means is I certify other trainers. They undergo a train the trainer session by LP and IFC, and I certify that yes, they go through that process. I certify that yes, they are competent to be based on international standard. They can be international trainers. Excuse me. I'm also Nigerian's first certified transfer designer. Now, so that's why you are at the right place. When it comes to showing transfer of training, I have been certified to do that. That's what I do. That's all I do in our training programs. I ensure that there's a transfer for every training intervention. So for Nigeria, so I work with the Institute of Transfer Effectiveness in Austria. And so in Nigeria, I'm the very first person to be certified to have that. And very soon there will be an announcement they'll be making. So I don't want to preempt that. And I'll be in charge of the Africa for the training transfer effectiveness. So let's wait for that announcement to be made. Let me not preempt anything. Then I'm also a resource person with the Lagos Business School. I train on, because I'm a coach, so I teach on coaching, and also I work in the human resource department and organizational behavior of Lagos Business School. I'm a certified transformational coach. I'm a certified team and group coach. I'm a certified Kirkpatrick professional. I'm sure you heard of Kirkpatrick evaluation method. So I've been certified in the bronze level to be able to do that. So that's why I'm very high on transfer and how to measure and evaluate it. And I've been a teacher or trainer, whichever you call me, for the past 26 years, both formally and informally. And I am a die-hard learner, die-hard student. I'm hoping to get certified again in what we call the performance learning journeys. It's a certification by Promote. It's by Professor Robert Brinkerhoff. If you know him, he's a very popular person when it comes to evaluation. And after that, I have another one. So you keep learning. When you stop learning, you start dying. That's my quote. When you stop learning, you start dying. So we keep learning. So that's a little bit about myself. A little bit on housekeeping, and I just I have someone say, okay, my name is Bazali Mohammed from Kano. I'm a manager admin saddled with responsibility of knowledge transfer. Oh, thank you, Muhammad, and welcome. Housekeeping. If you want, please always mute your microphone, which you're already doing. If you want to speak, there's a emoticon for raising of hands. You raise up your hands. Myself or Samson would ask you to speak. And you can make use of the chat box to type into chat your questions. You can also use of the emoticon. If I'm speaking too fast, there's a place you click. It will show that I'm speaking too fast, and I'll take note of that. If I'm speaking too slow, there's a place you click to show me, and I'll take note of that. So make use of the emoticons and make it interactive. Now let's go straight into what we have. The training transfer effectiveness journey begins. what is training transfer effectiveness? What exactly is training transfer effectiveness? Let me ask, does anybody that have an idea of what training transfer effectiveness is? Is anybody that wants to try? What really is it? Do you want to type into chat, or do you want to unmute your microphone and share with us? What do you think training transfer effectiveness means? If you don't know, you can type into chat. I don't know it. I don't know. Or if you're not already bold enough to do that, don't worry. You can keep quiet. I'll know that maybe, sometimes silence means I really don't know. Is there anybody that wants to go for it again before I continue? Okay, nobody. That's fine. That's why you're here, right? To know what exactly it means. And it's good for us. It's very important to know that. Okay, Wumi has. Wumi. Okay, please unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
All right. So I believe the effectiveness of training transfer means the degree, the extent at which the trainings that has been implemented or delivered is being used on the job, right? Translates to performance on the job. Yeah. For
that's a good transfer. One. Thank you so much. So you're very close to it. Yes, or almost. Thank you so much for that. And Femi, thank you. Femi said, guessing how training is transferred to practice. Your guess is correct. Application of the knowledge or the skills that you learned at the training, application of it. That's really what training transfer is. So let's move ahead. And welcome, Judith. Why training is more than an event. Why training is more than an event. And we're going to see that training is not just a one-time event. Training is more than an event. Now let's take a poll. And our poll was supposed to be, so we've already done the poll, right? The poll was, I wanted to know the class of people in this webinar. And we've already introduced ourselves, and I have an idea of who the people are. Like, I think Judy just joined. Judy, if you don't mind, type into chat and just let us know what role you perform. It's very important to know the kind of people I'm speaking with to help me to know how to either advance, intermediate, or beginners level in what I'll be talking about. Now, these are our objectives. This is where I'm taking you to this night. This is where I'm taking you to. This year, I'm hoping to go to Seychelles. Yes, I'm hoping to go to Seychelles. I love Seychelles. I've not been there. I heard it's a beautiful place. You can see by the sea, and that's where I want to go to. Type into chat where you want, which vacation place you want to go to. Where do you want to have your vacation for this year, 2025? And don't think about the expenses. It's going to be all expenses paid. Don't think about the expenses. All expenses paid. Where is your vacation of destination? Just type into chat. I've told you where mine is, and that's me. That's me under that umbrella. I'm going to Seychelles. So type into chat your vacation destination. Jerusalem. Okay, pilgrim to Jerusalem, Femi. Thank you, Femi. Okay, any other person? Where's your... Any other person? Okay, we have someone else. Bahamas. Something. Okay. Calgary, Canada. Isaac. Thank you so much, Isaac. Don't worry, you will get there. It's all expenses paid. Don't think about it. You'll be cruising at 30,000 feet above sea level in first class. Not business class, first class. That's where you'll be cruising from to go to those beautiful places you want to go to. And now, those places, let me see who else. I am Judith Nosiru, HR Manager, Journalist at West Africa Book Publishers, Lupeji, Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, Judith. Welcome, Judith. If you want, you can type into chat where you want your destination, your vacation destination for 2025. All expenses paid. So don't think about the expense. Now, those places you've listed, is it Jerusalem? Is it Calgary, Canada? Is it Bahamas? Is it Seychelles? Wherever you've listed, that is where I'm taking you to this night in this webinar. Yes, that is where I'm taking you to. That's your destination, our destination. So by the end of this webinar, you should be able to explain what training transfer is. training transfer effectiveness means, what it means. You should be able to explain to anybody. They wake you up, they tap you, you're able to explain it. You should be able to list at least 3 reasons why training fail. Just 3. I'm going to be giving you like up to 20. I'm asking you to be able to list just 3 why they fail. Then last but not the least, I need you to plan your next line of action after this webinar. What will you either stop doing, start doing, or continue to do, or stop doing, start doing, and continue to do? So this is what I want you to do. Plan your next line of action after this webinar. I think I see a message. UK, London. Okay, Judith, not a problem. So these are session objectives. Sorry, excuse me, please. Okay, thank you so much. So let's move ahead, please. How am I going to get you to your destination? How am I going to get it to your destination? This is how I'm going to get it to your destination. We're going to talk about exactly what training transfer effectiveness is. We're going to do a poll, which we've done one technically. We're going to do another one, then Q&A, then your next line of action. So this is our roadmap to how we're going to get to our destination. For you, if you want to travel, you know that you need your ticket. You need, no, not even ticket. First, you need your international passport. Then you need your ticket. You need reservation, hotel reservation. You need dollars or pounds, wherever you're going to, where you're going to spend, what you're going to spend. You need all that. So these are the things I would use to take you to our destination. Now we go to the next thing, your why factor. What is the why? What is the reason why you are in this webinar? What is your why for being in this webinar tonight? You can type into chat or you can unmute your microphone. Since we are few, that's why I'm allowing us to unmute our microphone. Why are you in this webinar tonight? Why are you in this webinar tonight? Who wants to share with us? Do you want to type into chat? Why are you in this webinar tonight? Why are you in this webinar tonight? We are looking at the chat box. Nothing yet. Is there anybody that wants to unmute his or her microphone to speak? Did someone just send you the link? Or you just felt it's a nice to be? Or you came with a burning need that this is why I am in this webinar tonight and I would be in the webinars. Okay, we see something on the chat box. Okay, Judith says, I'm here to probably unlearn and relearn. Okay, thank you, Judith. Thank you. Thank you. Any other person? Okay, we see something on the chat box. Femi says, how to measure impact of training on the participant and if skill is being used and the degree. Okay, so this is part of what the webinar will cover. You know, it's not just a one-off webinar. It's a weekly webinar. It's going to be weekly. It's a weekly webinar. So we may not get to this today. However, during Q&A, I may answer some of those questions. We felt it's important for us to build the foundation that would help people, then we will move up. So that when you're building a house, if the foundation is not solid, that house will collapse. So we want the foundation to be solid and we'll get there. So we hope that we will do that. So Isaac says, to gain in-depth knowledge about training transfer and practical ways to measure ROI. Yes, this is also part of it. It's also part of the series. To not just ROI, also ROE. So ROI is return on investment. ROE is return on expectations, which is something we are saying, we are clamoring for, and even what Kirkpatrick is saying. Look more at ROE, return on expectation, because when you look more on return on expectation, you definitely get ROI, return on investment. You definitely get it. A lot of businesses are more interested on return on investment, and because of that, the organization is still where they are. They are not thinking about return on expectations. Right? Okay, so let's move ahead. Thank you so much for sharing. Can keep it coming. So now, what exactly is training transfer effectiveness? What exactly is it? It is training effectiveness. Let's start with training effectiveness, then we'll talk about training transfer. So training effectiveness is a degree or extent to which your training is successful. in giving you that desired result, for you to have training, for you to decide to send people on training, or your organization is sending you on training, there are some things they're expecting, and that's why they're sending you on that training. So now, the extent to which the reason why they are sending you on training is achieved is what we call training effectiveness. So it's the degree to which training is successful in producing the desired result, that desired result we want to see. That's what training effectiveness is. Now, what is training transfer? From the word transfer, it's already giving you an idea what it means, the applicability. So it is the extent to which your employees or you yourself that go on a training, when you come back, you're able to apply. Is it the knowledge you've gotten? Is it the skills you've gotten? You've been able to, or from training, you're able to apply it, or even you've been able to demonstrate the behavior. A lot of people forget desired behaviors. They are thinking about just knowledge and skills, whereas it is the behavior that is more important. So that you don't just have the knowledge and have the skill. What happens? How are you able to apply it? Application is the behavior. So it's the degree to which you're able to apply those knowledge you've gotten, the skills you've gotten, and demonstrate the desired behavior that is expected from you at the workplace. That's basically what training transfer is. So in other words, training transfer effectiveness, it is the ability for employees or trainees. So those that go for training, we call them trainees. So the ability for them to be able to apply all that they've learned, is it knowledge, is it skill, or demonstrate the behaviors from the training they went in the workplace. That's basically what training transfer effectiveness is. So it's the extent to which they apply what they've learned. And the essence is performance. Performance is always the goal. To ensure that performance is improved. Performance changes, performance improves, which is very, very key. So it's not just about attending training. It's not just about, I see organizations, shoot me. I see organizations that just want to tick the box. Begin through the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, they don't do anything. It's towards the fourth quarter of the year, they now start, they need to finish their training budget. At least, because I know people have come to us like before like that. They need to finish their training budgets. I'm like, excuse me. And you see them pushing out training, September, training, October, training, November, training. What's that? And that is why at the end, all those people that go out for those training, some are in class, they'll tell you they don't know why they're in class. I don't know if you've had that. They said, I don't know why I'm in class really. Some have personally told me in trainings, I've been called to be a facilitator, not our organization got the training. So sometimes other companies that get trainings call me, I'm a facilitator, I facilitate. And one of the trainees said, Madam Sandra, I don't even know why I'm here. I'm not supposed to be in this class. I'm not part of this thing they sent me on. It has nothing to do with me. So what do you think will happen to that person when the person goes back? Waste of money, waste of resources, waste of organization's time, and waste of the employee's time too. So can we stop that ticking of boxes and can we start thinking about strategically? L&D must be strategic. And that's the problem we're having. HR and L&D, a lot of them are not strategic. They are just operational. You need to be strategic. You want to sit at the table? You need to earn it. So for your training to be effective, for every training intervention you have, there must be a transfer. There must be strategies in which that training, when they come back, the knowledge, the skills will be applied in the workplace, on the job, with respect to what they are doing. If it's not applied, you've just wasted. If you don't have that strategy, I tell you, I bet you on dollars, thousands of dollars, they will get back to the office and no change. And I'm going to show you the forgetting curve. That's what I'm going to end with, of how people forget things when they go for training. Within 6 days, everything is gone. And this is based on research. It's not my research. Based on research. Okay. So this is what I've already said. What exactly is training transfer? Let me ask this question. An enormous investment is made annually by organizations in training. True or false? True or false? An enormous amount either in naira, in dollars, is made. Okay, Femi says true. I can see the thumbs up. True. Okay. You can type into chat, or you can use the emoticons. So, if you go and read Harvard Business Review, also LinkedIn, the report they brought out last year, also the training magazine, so we try to read all these reports and researches. They've complained that billions of dollars are being spent on training, and the CEOs, stakeholders they are disappointed and they're angry that nothing is being done, it's not being applied, and they feel it's a waste. And that is why when they want to cut costs, where do they go to? Training budget, because they feel that it's waste of money. I don't know what those people are doing there. So now, transfer researchers say that only between 10 to 30% of what people learn in training is actually put into practice. These are by researchers. Out of every 8 people that go for training, only 1 person tries to do it. The remaining 6 that try to do it, only 1 person is doing it, applying it. The remaining 6 that try to apply it, along the way they stop due to various reasons. Maybe no supervisor support, even the organization is no resources, no way to apply what they've learned, and they just give up and say, "Oh, more, I've tried." They give up. Then just 1 out of the 7 decides, "You just sent me for training and I wasn't ready for that training and I didn't want to go I'm not doing anything." So can you imagine, just 20% out of is the only person that really applied it? Is that not a waste of money? That's why CEOs, stakeholders, management will say, let's not send these people on training. So according to Professor Robert Brinkerhoff, who is one of the leading experts in the field of effectiveness and evaluation, he says only 2 out of 12 trainees manage to transfer what they learned into their everyday life. He says another 8 try to apply their learnings but fail. I think just what I just said now. And the remaining 2, they don't even try. Those are the ones that will stab your organization, stab the training project, say all sorts of things in that organization. They don't even try. Now I'm asking, what then is the solution to ensuring that an organization gets value, the desired and expected outcome from its training program? What then is the solution? Who wants to try? What do you think is the solution? What then is the solution? Who wants to try? What then is the solution? What then is the solution? Is there anybody that wants to try? Don't forget, even though this is a webinar, I have come to share my knowledge and my experience with you, I would also like it to be a bit interactive. So you can type into chat, I will read out the chat, or you can unmute your microphone, that's also fine. What then is the solution to ensuring that your organization gets value, that desired outcome, that expected outcome? When they sent that trainee, that person, that employee on that training, there's something they were expecting. There was a return they were expecting, return and expectation. What then is the solution to ensure that expectation is met? Why allow you to continue to think about it? Let's move on. That's why we are here today. I want to share some misconceptions with you on training. These are misconceptions we've seen people have on training. I said when I started, training is not a one-time event. It is a process. It is ongoing. The common false assumptions about training is, if we conduct training, employees will automatically improve. Foul. I want to be Zebediah. That's what Zebediah says. Say foul. If we conduct training, employees will automatically improve. No. If you don't put the right things in place, they will not improve. The responsibility of training effectiveness belongs only to the L&D team or HR team. Foul. No. That's a misconception. A well-designed training session guarantees success. Foul. That's also a misconception. No, it is not. A well-designed training session does not guarantee success. That you said, okay, let's have the training in 4 Point by Sheraton. Let's have good food, good drinks, get a facilitator that would help us to have fun, give different exercises, activities that they're interested, that vibed up and all that. That's what will make the training to be a success? No. Training is a process, not an event. And so the success of every training depends on what happens. There are 3 phases, which is part of this webinars, we've come up so I've been able to come up with some models, one methodology and one model. That's two. And we have what we call it the PDP, training transfer effectiveness model. It is our model. We developed it. It's called the PDP model. Pre-training, during training, post-training. So for training to be successful, these three things must be taken care of: pre-training, during training, and post-training. The one that they are talking about, a well-designed training, is just during training. If you design training on what happens only during training without thinking about the pre and the post, your training is going to flop. Your training will be a failure. When designing training, you start with the pre, think of during, and think of post. So these are things we'll be talking about in this webinar. We're going to take you step by step, whereby you will go back to your organizations. And as we are telling you, as you're going through this webinar, it's going to be, you're going back, checking the trainings you have, or the trainings that would come, or the trainings that have gone. What we are teaching you, what you're learning from here, you are using it to check to see, okay, how can I improve and ensure that there's a training transfer effectiveness in our organization. So I'll move faster now so I can give time for questions, though we didn't start on time. Now, why training fails? Pre-training. Don't worry, you'll be getting the slides. Before the training begins, there are things you should do. There was something again we developed, is a methodology. We call it the needs value validation process, the MVP, the needs validation process. Now, when a client came to us early this year and told us that listed 5 things that their staff were having, the challenges. I have the document here, so that's what I'm trying to look at it. Talked about communication issues, documentation practices, reactive work culture, and leadership development, and HR management. That was the issues, the challenges that the clients told us that their staff were having, and so they wanted the training on this. Now, before we came up with this needs validation process, we would have just gone ahead to do this training, come up with a proposal for training on documentation, communication, reactive work culture, leadership development, and HR management. But as a result of a lot of research from our company and a lot of practice, we found out that this doesn't work again. Now, when client comes to you, doesn't really mean that it is a training issue. So we came up with a needs validation process. And so we went through it with the clients. And guess what? I will blow your mind. So it's a process whereby we meet first with the training sponsors. From there, we meet with the trainees that have been earmarked for the training, trying to validate if it's a training intervention or a non-training intervention, or it's a hybrid. It's a mixture of training and non-training. After the meeting with just the training sponsor, those that asked for the training, guess what we found out? Out of the 5 things that were listed, only 2 were training intervention. The remaining 3 were non-training intervention. And I told the client, you can see how you'd have wasted money. You'd have just wasted money and paid us to train for you. But that's not, we could as well have trained and taken our money and gone. But we said, no, we don't do things like that. Because now it's as if we are losing, but it's fine for us. We are not losing. We are putting up ourselves and putting up what we believe in there. See, you would have wasted money to train. That these ones are not training interventions. So it was a blend of training interventions and non-training interventions. So you can see the reason why for the HR people in AMIS, the L&D in AMIS, they come to you and say, I want you to send this person on this training. No. Have a conversation first. Validate if really it is training, if it's a training issue. Because what we find out in organizations, they all believe that most of the things is training. Anything, this person is coming late, training. This person is not doing the work well, training. Everything training. No. Let's stop it. Everything is not training. Training is just a component of the L&D interventions. And training is not learning. I hope we know that. Training is not learning. Training is not learning and development. Training and development is a component under the learning and development. We have various components that make up the learning and development. So one of the things you go through is the pre-training, we first of all go through the validation process to find out if it's a training intervention or a non-training intervention. With that, you're able to, so you see that you save your organization a lot of money than wasting money on training. So you're going to get the slides. We are running out of time already, so we won't look at this. So during training, there are things you should also do during training. You can see the training design, poor training design, no practicality. The person just comes and is lecturing you, talk. No. For a good training, for a good facilitator, the person should not be a trainer per se. The person should be a facilitator and should do what we call 40-60, whereby the facilitator is speaking 40% and the trainees, the learners, are the ones speaking 60%. It should be more of activities, role play, engaging. There should be interactivity. The content should apply to their job, so when they go back, they can be able to apply those things. So if you don't do all those things, training will definitely fail. And last but not the least is post-training. If you don't have no post-training reinforcement, no plans on how, when the employee comes back to work, how he or she will apply what she's learning, no supervisors to support, no supervisor guide, no. That training is already set up for failure. Even the organization, no organizational support. That training is already set up for failure. So no way to apply. All the things they've learned, they come to the organization, they cannot apply it. Then why did you send them on that training? They will definitely forget it. Based on the forgetting curve, they will definitely forget it because they are not applying it. So these are some of the reasons why training failed. We have the pre-training, the during the training, and post-training. If they are not well synchronized and worked up, the training will definitely fail. And last but not the least, the forgetting curve. This was what I talked about, the forgetting curve. So we are rounding up to give time for questions now. The forgetting curve. The forgetting curve is a source by Herman Ebbingen. Hope I got that word. Ebbinghaus. Now, wow, Oyibo and their name. Ebbinghaus. Yes, or Ebbinghaus. That Ebbinghaus, whatever. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. If new information isn't applied, the trainees will forget about 75% of it after just 6 days. This is the curve. They started no forgetting yet, right? 100%. 20 minutes later, after the training, it's going down to 58%. 1 hour later, it has come down to 44%. 9 hours later, 36%. A day later, 34%. 2 days later, so you can imagine in a training whereby they do not even apply, there's no application during the training. There's no application for what they were taught. 2 days later, you can see 6 days later, 25%. Then 31 days later, 21%. So you must ensure applicability. And now, so we are wrapping up. So based on everything, what we did today was it's a weekly webinar, and training transfer effectiveness is big, is large. It's something I've been doing all my life. From Kirkpatrick, in those days, someone that was my go-to was Joke. What's her surname? How can I forget? Joke, I'm so sorry. Joke Ali, yes. Joke Ali, she's the GM of HR and admin in Fitsin Group. She was my go-to person. I was like, Joke, what's happening? Why are organizations cutting training budget? And Joke said, my organization is not doing it. I said, really? I said, what are you both doing? And she showed me what they did. I said, geez, this is what I've been talking about. You are doing great. How many organizations are doing it? They don't cut their training budget. No, because she's been showing the business that really training is important. You can't touch my budget. And so they don't touch her budget. So you can see the importance to show the importance of L&D. You must have a seat at the table. If you don't have a seat at the table, you'll be eating scraps. So it's great for L&D to wake up, practitioners wake up and make yourself relevant so that you have a seat. They won't even have breakfast, lunch, dinner without inviting you to that table. And you can only do that by what you're showing, by your work. And on this note, we've come to an end of today's webinar, and I will not leave you there. What are your action plans? I know some of you did not join on time. Please, next time, try to join on time. We waited for 12 minutes even before we started for people to come on time. Please try and come on time. We would always stick to time. I'm a time conscious person. Anybody that knows me, 7 is 7. It was Adewumi that says, I told him, let's give people time. He said, yes, no problem. Because we thought maybe people are coming on their way from work and all that. However, put your alarm. 7 p.m. we start so that we can have enough time to spend. Because this is a pain point in a lot of organizations. I have senior L&D managers, director reaching out to me, say, Sandra, I need help. And so I'm coming up for something for those high level people. Of course, I cannot bring directors and L&D heads to where we have officers. So I'm creating something for them because they're like, we need help. And I said, no problem. I got you. We'll create something for you and walk you. So I'm going to have a walk with them with all their programs. So what is your action plan for those that started with us up till now? What would you start? So based on the action plan, what we are saying is from what you've learned, the little you've learned. And we had just 2 objectives for this webinar. What would you start doing or stop doing or continue to do? Why I allow you to think about it, I want to ask, at this point in time, what are the questions you may have at this point in time? Let's take your questions now, because I'm sure there are so many burning questions. We're supposed to have ended at 7:45. So just like I said, we started at 7:12. If you add 7:12 to 45 minutes, where's my pen? That should be 7:57, right? Yes. So please permit us to end at 8 p.m. I don't like keeping people. So let's take the questions. Please permit us to end at 8 p.m. That's 7 minutes. In 7 minutes time we would end. So what are the questions you may have now? Please feel free to ask your questions. You can type it into chat or you can unmute your microphone and speak. The floor is yours. Are there questions? So meaning there are no questions. Interesting. There are no questions at this point in time. Okay, I see Femi's hand up. Femi, please, you can unmute your microphone. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for it's like for giving us appetizer, right? Or raising, my curiosity about this training, and for me, it's a question I've always wanted to ask, where you do training and at the end of the day, you really can't see the application. Even for me, sometimes I've attended lots of training, and then you find out after the training, like you rightly mentioned, there might actually not be an opportunity to apply, except you're very intentional and you also had a need, that you wanted to meet. So for me, I'm thinking my questions will be answered as to go along. Questions around how do you clarify maybe the expectations, how do you you talked about alignment of the pre, the during and the post, particularly need validation, what are the steps, what are the things that you'll be looking out for in needs validation. It's just a lot of questions and I'm just thinking, okay, maybe I should be patient as we go along. Some of these questions will be answered, but I do believe that really if one is able to learn this and apply, it will make a lot of difference within the organization. Like you rightly said, a lot of money is spent on training. By the end of the year, one day, did we really do this training? And for me, I'm excited because I'm transitioning to a role in learning and talent management. So I think it's just for me. This session is for me. Thank you.
You're welcome, Femi. Just like you said, this is a taster. If we give you everything now, you would choke. You would choke. So this is just a taster. And so what I will do also, I will point you people to, so if on LinkedIn since September, I've been deliberate. I've been posting out things on, I have what we call the Train Transfer Effectiveness series. So I've been putting out things on LinkedIn every day. Some days I don't, so if you go to my page, you see my email, my LinkedIn name and all that. Follow, read. So we won't give you something to read to help you, and maybe even before you come again, because it's a weekly series, even before you come. So it is a process, just like I said. You cannot even finish it in 3 months or in 6 months. It is a process. So what we are doing is, we want the one you've learned now. So when they come to you and say to you, I want to send my people on time management, don't just look at, okay, which are the organizations that will go for time management, let's send them on time management. No, don't do that. No. If you did not learn anything, that should be what you should learn first. What our company designed it, I designed it, needs validation process. Validate, is that need really a training intervention, or it is a non-training intervention? I gave you the example. This is a live case. This is the company. This is what they asked for. It's live. 3 things out of what they asked was not a training intervention, and they would have just wasted money. And if we're bad people, we will carry their money, eat their money, and they will continue to have the problem, right? And they will feel, but we went on training. What happened? Because it wasn't a training issue. And so nothing would happen. There will be no transfer, no application, nothing will change. Performance will remain the same. And so, just like you said, just ride with us, cruise with us. Don't be in a hurry. You will get it. Thanks for your question, Femi. Okay, is there any person that has any question? I'm checking my time. We have just 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Any other question? Let me check the chat. Okay, thank you, Samson. Okay, Samson has put my LinkedIn address on the chat, so you can hook up to me. Okay, there are no more questions. Again, what is your next line of action? A call to action. What is your next line of action? What is your action plan? In this weekly webinar, you must have action plan. No? If it's even just one thing, that, okay, from what I've learned, I think I should go and read more on training transfer. Or I think I should get more research on it. Or I think whenever anybody comes to me for training and says, I want to train someone on leadership skills, I want to train someone on communication skills, let me first do that diagnostic, that need validation. Is it really a training intervention? So there must always be an action plan. Okay, if there's no, I hope you have your action plan. It would have been nice for you to share with us. On this note, we want to say, old ways won't open new doors. Not at all. Old ways won't open new doors. So what will open new doors? Results. We want results. No more excuses. L&D. No more excuses. I need to see you at that table. Yes, I need to see you sitting there at that table, not at the back and eating scraps, right? Success doesn't come cheap. It comes with hard work. Are you willing to pay the price for success? The choice is just now. What will it be? And on this note, finally, I say, be happy and feel good about yourself always. Be happy and feel good about yourself always. And this is me. These are my where you can connect with me. And on the chat box, just 1 or 2 announcements before we go. On the chat box, we have the feedback form. Please fill the feedback form. We love your feedback from this Taster class. This is our first webinar we're having. Kindly fill out the form with us. You can click on it. It doesn't take time. Less than 45 seconds, you are done with the form. So it's already, Samson has dropped it on the chat. Click on it, fill it. Let's get your feedback on it. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's keep this going. And on this, and next week, we'll look forward to seeing you again next week. So let me stop sharing. We look forward to seeing you again next week. And on this note, if there's no more question, nothing to share, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. Once again, my name is Sandra Iheanacho, aka The Oracle. I call myself the Training Transfer Effectiveness Advocate. I'm advocating for training transfer effectiveness. And I've been doing that, and I'll continue to do that. We'll see you again next week, Thursday. Please invite your friends, invite your colleagues, invite your line manager. They should come. Let's come and learn and start making that impact we want to see. And From each and every one of us, from Samson, from myself, good night and have a beautiful night to rest. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Femi. So I'm going to stop and end the meeting now. Good night, everyone. Good night, Dolapo. Good night, Femi. Good night, Judith. Good night, Adewumi. Good night, everyone. Thank you.